Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from strange UFO sightings to clips of cryptids we never even thought could exist. Ready to have your mind blown? Well, let's dive right in. Lately, there have been multiple sightings of small humanoid creatures, with people sharing trail camera images and eerie footage online. One woman in particular shared a photograph from her barn, and what she captured is raising a lot of questions. In the image, you can see a small bipedal creature about 2 to 3 feet tall, covered in fur. It has long hair draping over its face, almost resembling a monkey, except for one thing. According to her, monkeys don't exist in that area, and she's never seen one there before. Another image from a barn shows the same creature again, this time walking across the doorway. Though its appearance is undeniably strange, her animals, particularly the ducks, seem unbothered. She can't shake the unsettling feeling that this thing is more than just a monkey. During the time it visited her barn, some of her birds went missing. She uploaded the footage, seeking help as she didn't know what to do. My team investigated her profile and discovered this was the first time that she'd posted something like this. When we find such details, we know it's likely genuine, as the individual posting is posting their own experience. It's basically from the horse's mouth, if we can say that. Some in the community believe it could be a cryptid or something completely unknown to us. That's a pretty convenient explanation. We can clearly see it's unlike any creature we know. What we need to know now is what exactly it is that we're dealing with. That's where it gets tricky, as no one seems to know, but you've seen it yourself. What do you think it is? Have you got any ideas? Next, we've got this clip from a cat owner, and it's bizarre. Did you see it? Something dragged the cat across the floor and spun it around until the cat suddenly jumped onto its 4 legs, looking alarmed. Take a second look. Clearly, an unseen force moved the cat around aggressively. When she shared the footage online, a lot of people were shocked. Many in the paranormal community believed this was some kind of entity messing with the cat. While everyone was caught up trying to make sense of the situation, one skeptic dismissed it as nothing unusual. According to him, the cat wasn't reacting to anything supernatural. Instead, the footage was simply being played in the reverse. He then urged everyone to take a closer look at its movement. After watching it over and over, I must say that it's not impossible, but if it was in reverse, how did the cat slide forward? I mean, it's okay to be logical sometimes, but sometimes it's also okay to believe that the paranormal is real. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Let's get a third opinion, and by a third opinion, I mean yours. What do you think? And while you're sharing your opinions, we're going to visit the Rendlesham Royal Air Force Base in the UK, where this clip comes from. It was captured by a man who noticed something strange in the sky just above the base. It was this odd-looking object, almost like a jellyfish of some sort, floating in the sky. If you have followed this channel, then you should be very aware of jellyfish UFOs, right? That's what we believe we're dealing with here, but unlike the usual jellyfish-shaped UFOs that seem to wiggle and move fluidly, this one was rigid, unmoving. That wasn't all, though. No, this one did something different. As this thing hovered in place, something shocking happened. A bolt of lightning struck from the object down to the ground, and after a while, the object slowly disappeared into thin air. It didn't fly away, it just faded out of sight. We've never seen a jellyfish UFO do that. As usual, when it made its way online, opinions were divided. Those who lived in the area, however, struggled to call this a hoax. The reason is simple. This same area had a famous UFO sighting back in 1988. At that time, strange lights were seen coming from a metallic object that many believed to be an actual UFO. To have this happen around the area again has got many of them talking. Of course, this wasn't covered in any mainstream media, and many of the accounts that uploaded it have allegedly been suppressed. I use the word allegedly because we are unable to confirm it, but it does seem legit. So is history repeating itself, or did someone find out the history of this location and decided to prank everyone? I guess only time will tell. Now, on to something a bit more dangerous and disturbing. Back in 2024, a disturbing attack took place in Lebanon and Syria, an attack that left many shaken. Not sure if you heard of it, but several pagers exploded simultaneously, killing over a dozen people, and the prime suspect was Israel. But that's not what caused the most alarm. These explosives weren't set off by timers or manual detonation. They were remotely controlled. Not sure if you've seen a pager before, but that's the last thing anyone would consider an explosive. I mean, doctors use them today, so how were they exploding? Well, many suspect that the lithium batteries in them might have been the culprit. They suspect Israel found a way to get those to explode. Now, think about this. If we all carry devices powered by lithium batteries, and lithium is highly volatile, capable of exploding when exposed to extreme heat. We've seen cases where phones have spontaneously burst into flame, injuring people. But what if, just what if, someone could hack into your device, remotely overheat your battery, and trigger an explosion? If someone can weaponize everyday electronics, what does that mean for our safety? I can't be the only one who enjoys the ocean view at night, right? As exciting as that can be, sometimes you see things that don't make sense, and the individual who uploaded this clip experienced something like that. He'd parked by the ocean when he noticed something strange on the surface of the water. He believes it was a siren, but looking at the clip he recorded, I must say that we're struggling to see the exact thing that he's seeing. Many in the community felt the same and stated that he might have imagined things. For those who are unaware, when it comes to the sea creature lore, mermaids and sirens are the most talked about. Some believe they're the same, while others insist there's a difference. Mermaids are usually seen as gentle creatures, while sirens are dangerous and deceptive. Both are often depicted as half human, half fish, but sirens tend to have a more eerie and ghostly appearance. In this footage, though, I have doubts that any are making an appearance. Some in the paranormal community state that what he thought was a siren was nothing more than a rock. Others believe he might have really seen the siren but failed to capture it. While these guys argued their points, I came across a rather funny and interesting comment. This is what he said. Yeah, a golden retriever with scuba goggles. Before you come at him, know that he's entitled to his own opinion, and that's what he saw.
I'm tempted to believe him, but maybe it's the most realistic dogfish we've ever seen.
A farmer captured footage of this strange creature lurking around his farm. This thing has 4 long, almost unnatural-looking limbs, little to no hair, and a snout that doesn't resemble any common herbivore. But here's where things get even stranger. The farmer had been losing livestock for weeks. Every morning he would check on them only to find that something had eaten them, yet he never caught the culprit until now. When the footage was posted, one name immediately came to mind, the chupacabra. This cryptid is said to drain the blood of livestock, and looking at this creature, it fits the description eerily well. It doesn't seem to resemble any known forest animal. However, not everyone is convinced. Some argue that this could simply be a wild animal suffering from disease, possibly mange. If you picture it covered in fur, the theory makes sense. In fact, when you add fur, you really see the possibility of it being a maned wolf. For those unfamiliar with them, the maned wolf is a unique canid native to South America, known for its long legs and reddish fur which help it navigate tall grasslands. Despite its name, it's neither a wolf nor a fox, but a distinct species with a solitary lifestyle and an omnivorous diet that includes fruit, small animals, and insects. The thing, however, is that maned wolves generally do not prey on livestock, as their diet is mainly omnivorous, consisting of fruits, especially the wolf apple, small mammals, birds, and insects. In rare cases, however, they may take small poultry if other food sources are scarce. But is that really all it is, or did this farmer just catch a chupacabra? We keep hearing conspiracies that aliens are already here, but, well, let's be honest, we haven't exactly seen blue-skinned beings strolling through our neighborhoods. Let me correct that. Some. Well, at least some of us haven't, because it seems like others might have. Anyway, one night a man was driving on the road when another car passed by, and guess who, or should I say what, was in the driver's seat? It was a blue-skinned alien. This alien-looking figure appeared to be female and had its eyes locked on the road, completely unbothered by the man filming. It all looks so bizarre, and I'm all for it, but let's point out the fact that this could just be an incredibly dedicated Halloween fan in an elaborate costume. I mean, the cosplays today are that convincing, but if I was an alien and wanted to hide in plain sight, I would do so boldly and count on all who saw me to think it was cosplay. Well, sounds logical, doesn't it? A family went to visit this San Diego SeaWorld. They filmed their entire experience on camera, and one of the highlights was the ice wall exhibit. When they pressed their hands against the ice, the warmth from their palms melted it slightly, leaving small dents behind. The family was fascinated, laughing as they placed their hands over each other's prints and watched the ice react. At the time, they were completely unaware of what else they had captured. It wasn't until after they posted the footage online that they noticed something deeply unsettling. Inside one of the dents was what looked like a human eye staring directly at them. But the ice wall is solid, meaning there's no way to see through it like glass, so how did an eye appear? Some believe it was just a natural pattern in the ice resembling an eye. Others think something may have already been stuck in the wall. But if it wasn't an illusion, it raises an even darker question. Was someone or something frozen inside? Let's hope that's not the case.
Your hand on there for a while, it'll start melting through the ice. Then was there a horse in here? Oh no, somebody had their hand in here.
We haven't seen that.
You'd have to be here and have no life and no desire to do anything else, and just sit here.
A woman was walking along the shore in Florida, enjoying a calm, peaceful time with nature, until she noticed something strange in the sand: footprints. At first, they looked normal, humanoid even, but then she took a closer look at the toes, and that's when things got weird. The toenails were all sharp and pointed, almost claw-like. But what stood out the most was the second toe. It was much longer than the others, giving the footprint an unnatural, almost inhuman appearance. Some believe this could be evidence of a humanoid creature lurking on the beach, but before we jump to conclusions, let's consider something else: fake nails. These days, it's common for women to wear long acrylic nails, and these footprints could belong to someone with extremely long artificial toenails. But if that's the case, who would wear nails that long on their feet, oddly to the second toe? Well, it's very strange. There has left many wondering if this was just a fashion choice gone wrong, or if it was evidence that something unnatural had been walking this beach. What do you think? This footage is one of the rarest ever captured. It was recorded during a heavy storm when something unusual appeared outside someone's home. Behind the line of the trees in the front yard, a strange glowing orb floated by, moving eerily until it vanished into thin air. This happened right after a loud and blinding lightning strike, making it even more mysterious. While some were quick to suggest it was something paranormal, perhaps an alien entity or a spirit manifestation, this phenomenon actually has a scientific explanation. This is what's known as ball lightning. I'm pretty sure I've just explained it in detail here after being lectured by Julius. Who remembers what I said? A group of men stumbled upon a strange pink sack-like creature washed up on the rocks by the ocean. When they turned it over, it looked even weirder, almost like human flesh, wrinkled and sagging with an odd opening in the center. One of the men decided to pour coke on it, and that's when things got even stranger. The creature squirted out a thick white fluid and then suddenly exploded. Now, it's unclear whether they put some kind of explosive in it or if the reaction was caused by the coke, but either way, this was one bizarre sighting. Some are saying it could be a deep-sea organism, possibly a type of tunicate or sea squirt, creatures that contract and expel water when disturbed. But the explosion part makes this so unusual. Is there any sea life expert here to help us decode this one? A man shared some bizarre footage captured by his security camera on his property. This wasn't just any place. His home sits on a remote mountainous area of Brazil, far from city lights or passing cars. In the footage, two pairs of lights appear in the distance. Both sets were perfectly horizontal, each with two glowing orbs. They didn't flicker, they didn't change color, they simply floated. At first, they were far away, then they moved closer and moved out of the camera's view. The man was stunned. But skeptics have their own theories. Some believe these were just car headlights, except, according to the man, there are no roads nearby. Others suggest they could have been drones, but if so, who was controlling them in such a remote area?
Questions.
I did grab his butt. I'm single. I couldn't help it. He was just so delicious. So little. Just
When you told me the whole story, I felt like throwing up.
Wow! I feel violated right now. Wow.
Hollywood is a strange place, and if you haven't noticed by now, the truth is starting to come out. With all the exposés happening, people are finally catching on to the darkest side of this industry. One of the most talked about cases is Justin Bieber. He started his career young, and while many think his struggles today are just part of fame, others believe Hollywood itself is to blame. There have been disturbing incidents over the years, from old clips resurfacing of adults saying inappropriate things to him in interviews, women forcing kisses on him on stage, and uncomfortable moments where he was groped while still a minor. All of this, and yet nobody talks about it. Now when you look at him, his behavior, his struggles, his cryptic messages, it's clear that something happened behind the scenes. But instead of asking why, most people just see a celebrity who lost his way. So the real question is, what really happened to Justin Bieber? No one can tell the specifics, but many agree he should just sue them all. What do you think of the whole thing, though?
Well, Magnus never gave me the sex talk.
Okay.
So why don't you give me the sex talk?
I feel uncomfortable right now.
Oh.
Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird.
What you're looking at isn't some exotic bird or footage from a nature documentary. No, this is a Chinese-made bird drone. But just look at it. It looks so natural that you'd never guess it was a piece of advanced technology. These drones are designed for surveillance and can blend seamlessly into the environment. They can spy on targets, listen in on conversations, and in some cases even be weaponized, all without raising suspicion. It's impressive, but at the same time, a little unsettling. With technology advancing at such a rapid pace, I wonder what else is out there that we don't even know about. Someone noticed a strange cloud in the sky, but take a closer look. That moving cloud doesn't even look like a real cloud. Instead, it seems like a round, transparent object mimicking the clouds around it. Even stranger, it's lower than the other clouds and moves in a controlled, calculated way. I mean, it's so subtle that if you weren't paying attention, you might miss it. If you're familiar with these kinds of sightings, you already know what people are thinking. A cloaked UFO. Skeptics argue that there's nothing extraterrestrial about it. Instead, they believe this could be a human-made technology, possibly using cloaking devices that we don't fully understand yet. If you've ever experienced sleep paralysis, you know it's not a pleasant experience. That's why it shouldn't surprise you that someone will go as far as place cameras in his room to try and understand the situation. The man in questioning had been experiencing sleep paralysis for a long time and couldn't explain it. Every time he told people about it, they either didn't take him seriously or simply just brushed it off. He felt there was more to it than what he was experiencing, so he decided to record himself while he slept. He set up a thermal camera by his bed and placed cameras all around the room. In the footage, you can see him lying in bed. Then, at a particular moment, something happens. On the camera, a strange humanoid entity climbs onto the bed and hovers over him, moving its hand closer to his neck. But in the real time, no one is in the room. That's not all. Looking closely, you'll notice tiny orbs floating all around the room. When he showed this to his family and friends, they were shocked by the whole thing. Most people who have experienced sleep paralysis say it feels like something is sitting on them and choking them, and seeing the entity's posture in the footage eerily matches that description. Plus, in the paranormal community, orbs are often seen as a sign of a spiritual presence. So did this man capture a paralysis demon? And if that's genuinely a sleep paralysis demon, well, you gotta wonder, why do they do this? This picture was taken by a friend while they were out digging in the yard. It seemed like a normal photograph at first until they developed the film. That's when they noticed something chilling. A little child standing on the left. She was not supposed to be there. In fact, at the time the picture was taken, there was no child, only the woman was present. It was only after the photograph was developed that the child showed up. No one knows who this little girl is, and look closely. She has this whitish hue around her, almost like she doesn't belong in the photo. Skeptics believe this image was edited, but in the paranormal community, many think this could be the ghost of a little girl who was possibly buried there years ago or someone who once lived on the property. Anytime we come across genuine cases like this, the usual narrative is that the spirit belongs to someone who was trapped at the location after suffering a violent death. If that's true for this little girl, who knows what tragic fate might have led her to being stuck there. These days, we have no idea what's really going on in our skies. If you've been following such news, then this one is for you. One man using a flight radar tracking app noticed some very suspicious activity, and what he saw left him with more questions than answers. There were planes and helicopters flying in strange, erratic patterns. Some weren't following any clear flight path. Instead, they were circling the same area over and over. And many of these aircraft seemed to hover around certain locations right before rainfall. But here's where it gets even stranger. Some of these mysterious crafts would land on mountains, remote places where no airports exist, and then they'd vanish from the radar completely. Tracking planes like this isn't illegal. There are public apps that allow anyone to do it. But why are we seeing so many unusual flight patterns? Some believe this is proof of a long-standing theory that the government is spraying chemicals over us to alter the weather or even manipulate our minds, and some of these aircrafts don't even seem to be registered. A member of the community stated that they had the app and that usually the planes with multiple tracking could be tracked. They also mentioned that sometimes these planes would appear with 2 green lines behind them and that, at times, they were not registered. Not sure how this information helps out, but what do you guys think?
I was actually looking at the Tonto National Forest, and there were airplanes which were just spiraling all over the place before the storm happened. And then the other ones that I saw were going around and landing on top of mountains and doing all kinds of weird stuff. So lots of very strange stuff on the flight radar map.
This adorable little baby was born with blood-red eyes, and the footage has left many people scratching their heads. At first, I thought maybe the parents had put contacts on the baby, but why would they do that? And would it even be safe for such a young child? Well, your guess is as good as mine. I haven't come across any comments or explanations from the parents, but some on the paranormal platform I'm part of have suggested that this might just be a video glitch, especially since the color in the footage isn't very vibrant. There's also the possibility that the lighting in the room could be playing a role, but then again, could this be a rare genetic anomaly, or maybe, just maybe, something out of this world? Hard to say, but what do you think? This TikToker, known for sharing videos of wrecked cars and the stories behind them, posted something that completely caught her off guard. In the footage, she was showing the inside of a damaged car, explaining the backstory of the accident. But when the camera panned over and the front passenger floorboards, something unexpected happened. A pair of tiny glowing eyes appeared and then vanished. Take a look again in slow motion. Right there. The woman was shocked and convinced that this might be the ghost of a small dog that was in the car during the crash. Oddly enough, not everyone who watched the video could see it. Some think it was just dust or a light reflection, while others firmly believe it was the spirit of a dog caught on camera. So take a good look. What do you see? A farmer had been noticing his chickens disappearing every morning. Something was taking them, but he had no idea what it was. Determined to find out, he set up a camera on the roof of the chicken coop, and what he saw left him shocked. The metal rooster decoration on the ground suddenly fell over. Then, if you look closely, you'll notice something even stranger. The water hose moved on its own. But here's the weird part. There was no wind, at least not strong enough to move the hose on the metal object. Now, the farmer believes that whoever is taking his chickens is not human, but if it's not human, what is it? Could it be a predator or something paranormal? His responses will suggest we're dealing with the paranormal, but what do you guys think? While driving home one night, traffic came to a standstill, and the reason why had everyone talking. There were police cars everywhere surrounding a massive truck carrying an enormous tank-like structure on its back. Naturally, people started getting suspicious. If it was just a normal transport, why would the police be involved, causing such heavy traffic? Some viewers speculated that it was a high-voltage transformer, possibly from a power company. If that's the case, there's nothing to worry about. But given everything that's been happening lately, some aren't so sure. Could this be a top-secret technology, or something even stranger like a hidden camera, an unknown device, or even something extraterrestrial? Many seem to favor the latter, and honestly, can you blame them? After everything we've seen and heard, it's not that far-fetched. We all know that big cats are from the feline family like tigers, lions, panthers, and cheetahs, but here's something you might not have thought about. Cats are the only felines with slit pupils. Ever notice that? While big cats have round pupils, your house cat's eyes look more like those of a snake or a crocodile. But why? Slit pupils are usually found in reptiles like snakes and crocodiles, animals that are very different from felines. So how did this feature end up in cats? Now, let's go even deeper. Cats hiss just like snakes. They love hunting mice, which are also a favorite snack for snakes. In ancient times, cats were worshipped as gods and believed to be spiritually connected to the unseen world. This has led many to believe that there could be some connection between these cats and some sort of selective breeding practices from the ancient world. There are some who believe that they were genetically modified by ancient civilizations, but, well, that's not possible, right? Right? I asked Julius about it, and he did have an interesting take on the subject. According to him, house cats have slit pupils because they are ambush predators that hunt in low-light conditions and need precise control over the amount of light entering their eyes. Slit pupils can contract more dramatically than round ones, allowing for better vision in both bright and dim environments. Big cats, on the other hand, have round pupils because they're active predators that rely on speed and power rather than stealth. Round pupils provide better depth perception and focus, which are crucial for tracking and chasing down prey over long distances, especially in open environments. Simply put, there's no DNA modification done. That's Julius's take, though. What's yours? A family was having dinner when someone decided to take a quick video, panning the camera around the room. Everything seemed normal until the camera landed outside. And there she was. Under a tree by the pool, hidden in the darkness, stood a ghostly-looking girl. She had long black hair and wore a white dress, just standing there watching the family. When the footage was posted online, no context was given. Who was she? Why was she there? Some believe it could be the spirit of a past family member silently watching over their loved ones. Others think it's something much darker. Now let's take a look at this mugshot of Justin Timberlake. Justin has been a Hollywood elite for years, but people noticed something strange about this particular image: his eyes. If you look closely, his pupils appear to have slits, just like reptilian eyes. Now, we all know about the long-running conspiracy that claims Hollywood elites and celebrities are actually reptilian shapeshifters, and honestly, this photograph isn't doing Justin any favors. But skeptics argue that this is just a reflection from the camera making his pupils look like slits. But what do you think? Is Justin Timberlake reptilian or not? What you're looking at is believed to be a mummified fairy. It's a small humanoid-looking creature that was discovered lying on the ground. Its body appears frail and dried out, with pointed ears that give it an otherworldly appearance. Unlike traditional depictions of fairies, this one lacks visible wings, but skeptics believe it might just be an elaborate hoax. What do you think?
The majority of cancers are actually parasite infections, misdiagnosed as cancerous tumors, masses, cysts, period. So if you have uterine fibroids, if you have ovarian cysts, if you have thyroid goiters, if you have liver masses, lung lesions or masses, and you've been told that they're cancerous, or breast nodules, 80% of the time it's actually a parasite egg sac, not cancer or anything.
There's no doubt that cancer diagnoses are becoming more common, affecting people of all ages, including children. But here's an interesting claim that has been making the rounds. A man suggested that some cancers might not actually be cancers at all, but rather parasitic sacs that are being misdiagnosed. According to him, these sacs closely resemble tumors, leading to confusion in medical diagnoses. What makes this even more intriguing is that he claims this information was acknowledged by the CDC but isn't widely discussed in medical schools. He goes even further, stating that one of the leading causes of cancer is snake venom, which can supposedly trigger something called turbocancer. He says this theory was first explored back in the 1990s. If true, then some cases of cancer actually are parasites. Should people be checking for worms before assuming the worst? Wait, worms aren't the only sort of parasites out there, but, well, you get the idea, right?
In America, they get zero education in parasitology, and they are told in America that parasites don't exist in America. However, the CDC says it's very common to get parasites in America. It's very odd that the CDC says that, but the medical schools don't teach that.
A cute photograph of a boy and his grandma, right? Well, not exactly. This little boy had taken his mother's phone and was recording a video of himself. The camera was angled upward, capturing only his face from the nose up. On the side of the frame, another face appeared, but only partially visible, just a bit of a forehead and one eye, which for some reason looked hollow. When his mother saw the footage, she burst into tears. It really did look like the boy and her mother. So why was she crying? Well, the thing is, the boy's grandmother had recently passed away. That made this seemingly simple capture an emotional one. His grandma had been babysitter for years, always by his side. They couldn't help but compare the clip with previous photographs he had taken with her, and the resemblance was uncanny. Could this be his grandmother's spirit appearing for one last selfie before moving on? A home ring camera caught something eerie on tape. A man had parked his car outside on a snowy night. The windshield was covered in a thin layer of snow, untouched, until something strange happened. Out of nowhere, a streak appeared on the windshield, a deliberate mark, but there was no one around. No visible movement, no hand, no object. Now, some skeptics say it could have just been the wind, but, well, let's think about that. Could the wind really create a clear intentional streak like that? It wasn't just random snow blowing away, it looked purposeful. Some who live in the area state it's 100% wind, others think it's something more. Now, you've seen the clip, so what do you think?
Pagi dah buat seram ah. Kau tengok ni ya.
A bus driver started his early morning shift, getting ready to take the double-decker bus out for the day. As he turned on the ignition, something caught his eye on the upper deck. It was a lone passenger sitting quietly. This was odd. It was too early and the bus was supposed to be empty. Curious and a little uneasy, he grabbed his phone and walked up the stairs to check. He scanned the entire upper deck, walking through the aisles and looking between the seats, but there was no one there. The seat where he had seen the figure was completely empty. Looks like he may have had a ghost passenger hitching a ride that morning. Would you have dared to check, and why would a ghost be hitching a ride?
Abi boleh ada orang kat atas kan? Sial kan, tak ada orang kan? Berderau darah aku lah, celaka betul lah. Aku puas jeritkan dia suruh turun tadi kat dekat tempat turun orang. Nak bawa lagi sini. Pokemon betul lah.
There are plenty of stunt performers who pull off crazy tricks by the roadside, but this one is different. A man was seen doing a headstand on the pavement, but something was off. He wasn't swaying, adjusting, or even moving at all. He was perfectly still, almost like a mannequin standing on its head. But this wasn't a mannequin. This was a real person. How is this even possible? Is he just that good at balancing, or could this be a glitch? A man convinced he wasn't alone in his home set up a camera to capture anything unusual. One day, while he was at work, his motion-activated camera recorded something truly unsettling. The footage shows the camera slowly panning from the door to the wall as if scanning the room. It lingers for a few seconds before shifting back, and that's when we saw it. A strange shadow begins to emerge from the side of the door. It shifts slightly, and then, just as suddenly, the camera moves away. When it returns to the door, the shadow is gone. But here's the creepy part. The shadow came from the narrow gap between the door frame and the wall, far too small for any human to fit through. And even stranger, it's almost as if the entity noticed the camera and disappeared the moment it realized it was being watched. Naturally, the man was shocked when he reviewed the footage, but the real question is, how did it know the camera was there? And more importantly, what exactly are we dealing with? Over the years, countless conspiracy theories have emerged about a secret elite controlling the world, manipulating the banking system, influencing governments, and even darker accusations. But how do these theories gain traction? Well, it's because these elites supposedly leave breadcrumbs, or at least that's what some believe. One way they allegedly do this is through subliminal messaging. Take this, for example. A man folded two 50-euro notes and made a strange discovery. When placed side by side, they formed the full face of a bull. Now, for those who don't know, the bull has symbolic significance in various cultures, religions, and secret societies. In ancient civilizations such as Mesopotamia and Egypt, the bull represented power, fertility, and divinity. In modern conspiracy theories, some people associate the bull with financial power, such as the Bull of Wall Street, or with ancient cults like the worship of Moloch, a deity sometimes linked to secret elite groups. So, is this subtle proof that the theories are true, or is it all just an eerie coincidence? I guess we'll never truly know. I'm very certain none of you has seen anything like these dark-colored, peculiar things. The individual filming has an object in his hand, and as he taps these things, or creatures with it, they retract and shrink. To an extent, they look like trees, well, mini ones. Instead of having leaves on top, the top part is bulbous and sticky. Looking at them, one has to agree that they have a strange, almost alien-like appearance. The fact that their sticky bulbous top reacts to a touch adds some credence to the alien description. Could they be some form of rare species we haven't encountered before, or perhaps a fungal growth with unique defensive mechanisms? Julia stepped out when I was working on this aspect of the script and won't be back till this script goes live, so I can't give a lot of scientific facts. If any of you out there can, the comment section is all yours. Please educate us. Do you know you can make electricity at home? Yes, you can. All you need is a lemon. Without you asking, allow me to tell you. Yes, Julius insisted we add this section to today's episode, so please enjoy it so he can keep giving us logical answers. Now, back to our electricity experiment. Firstly, take a copper or brass nail and a zinc nail. Stick both into the lemon, making sure they don't touch each other. This setup acts as a simple battery. From the demonstration, the voltage was measured using a voltmeter, and there you see it, less than 1 volt of electricity. The science behind it is pretty fascinating. The lemon juice acts as an electrolyte, facilitating a chemical reaction between the copper and zinc. This reaction creates a small electrical current. While it's not enough to power your home, it's a fun and educational experiment to understand the basis of electricity and chemical reactions. To take it a step further, you can connect multiple lemons in a series to increase the voltage, and by doing so, you can power small devices like an LED light or a digital clock. Starting today's episode, I've got a clip Bigfoot enthusiasts will love. During a video project, a man deployed his drone to capture aerial footage above a dense forest area. As the drone hovered and scanned the landscape, it captured something rather unexpected and unusual, a massive ape-like creature. Looking at the clip, however, we know this can't just be any ape. I mean, look at its gait. It casually takes long strides with its massive arms swinging back and forth as it moves gracefully through the trees. This can't be any ape. In fact, many who saw it believed it had to be a Bigfoot. The creature seemed completely unaware of the drone filming it from above. If you were to ask me, the footage looks incredibly genuine. It has this authentic feel to it, unlike some of the staged videos we've seen in the past. Julius & Co., which is basically Julius and all who think like him, think this isn't genuine. Some stated it could be a gorilla, but Julius didn't think so. In fact, he states that there are no apes in the region where this was recorded. His hypothesis? It has to be a man in an ape suit or something along those lines. Aaron disagrees, and I'm tempted to go along with him on this one, but what do you guys also think? People have unique ways of honoring their loved ones who have passed, but what I'm about to show you might just be the most unsettling tribute yet. This man from Florida, who was a musician, decided to build a guitar using the skeletal remains of his uncle. According to him, this was his way of honoring his uncle, who introduced him to heavy metal music. He shared his creation online, and views were divided. Some thought it was fascinating, while others thought it was eerie. There were even some who thought it was outright disrespectful, but then again, people in their culture vary. How would you have interpreted this? If you were his uncle, would you have been happy with this? Researchers at Malatya İnönü University in Turkey have come up with a super cool lightweight material designed to protect drones from laser weapons. This advanced material can withstand temperatures over 2,600 degrees centigrade, making it incredibly resilient. It's crafted using a combination of tiny particles, metal oxides, and boron minerals, which contribute to its high heat resistance and durability. This innovation is particularly significant in the context of modern warfare and drone technology, where lasers are increasingly used as a weapon due to their precision and effectiveness. The new material not only offers protection, but also ensures that drones can continue to operate in extreme conditions, enhancing their reliability and performance in critical missions. Finally, we are a step closer to being able to fend off aliens. That, at least, was my first impression when I saw this clip. I know the love of all things paranormal is getting to me, but who can say that didn't cross their minds? Do you know what a rainbow body is? It's an extraordinary concept from Tibetan Buddhism and other spiritual traditions. A rainbow body refers to a remarkable state of spiritual achievement where advanced practitioners, upon death, transform their physical bodies into light. These images and footage shows various Buddhists who were said to have attained the rainbow body. Remarkably, their bodies appear to have shrunk significantly or completely disappeared, leaving only hair, nails, and sometimes clothing behind. This phenomena is considered the culmination of profound spiritual practice and enlightenment. Witnesses have reported seeing the bodies emit a spectrum of rainbow colors or dissolve into pure light. The phenomenon is tied to the practice of Dzogchen, which involves recognizing and realizing the true nature of consciousness and existence. While the concept sounds interesting and intriguing, we've never really captured it on camera. We only have the testimonies of men to go by. What do you think, though? A reality or fables made up by the religious? Believe me when I say I've lived and experienced the supernatural, be it on land, sea, and even sky. One thing I haven't, however, seen or experienced is this. I simply don't know what we're dealing with here. Does any of you know? Please do share in the comments section. Oh, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies, if you know what I mean. Huh, wow, that rhymed. Anyway, I'll be reading. Kindly hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Doing so lets you stay updated and allows us to create more videos for you. Thanks for doing so. Now let's continue with the day's episode. Now, what is this? Black, thick, gigantic strands floating to the ocean's surface. The first thing that came to mind when I saw them was wigs. Turns out they aren't wigs and the mermaids aren't shedding their hair. I wonder what gives me such ideas. I did the research and discovered that I didn't need to. A number of the individuals who commented on the original post had it right. We're dealing with kelp. For those unfamiliar with it, kelp is a type of large brown seaweed that thrives in cold, nutrient-rich waters and grows in underwater forests found along coastlines. These underwater forests can extend from the ocean floor to the surface, where the kelp fronds create a thick and dense canopy. Kelp can grow up to 60 meters in length, making it one of the fastest-growing plants in the world. The kelp forests are home to numerous marine organisms, including fish, crabs, and sea urchins that rely on kelp for food and shelter. They can, however, become detached from the seafloor due to storms, strong currents, or other factors. When that happens, they float to the surface and create large clumps or mats like in the clip above. So, no wigs. Disappointing. Before I move on to the next clip, though, I thought I'd share my favorite comment from the original post with you. The first time I read this, I almost believed it till the last statement. That's why I had to do my own research. The internet can be a funny place. Who knew? Next, we set our gaze on Mexico in the year 2021. You see it too, don't you? It appears to be some black craft or structure capable of levitating. The individuals filming were in their cars when they noticed the strange object in the sky. Seeing it, they then decided to film. And it's not one person filming, but multiple individuals, which is meant to allude to the fact that this is genuine. Let's assume it is genuine for one moment. What do you think this is? Aaron believes it's some sort of alien scouting ship searching through our atmosphere. Without bringing Julius into the equation, a part of me thinks aliens won't be that reckless in blowing their cover. Aaron is, however, still insisting that this has to be an alien craft, either that or a military craft being tested. My stance on both possibilities remain to be seen. What do you guys think? Over the years, there have been numerous reports of children mysteriously going missing at Disneyland. Recently, I came across a video on TikTok that might shed some light on these incidents. Take a look. In the footage, someone presses a button on the wall and a portion of the tiled floor slides open, revealing a staircase leading underground. When the button is pressed again, the floor closes up, seamlessly blending back into its surroundings. Intrigued by this, I delved into the comments section and found an interesting discussion. Someone asked me where this footage was filmed, and the poster claimed it was in one of the bathrooms at Disneyland. Rumors suggest that this secret staircase might be how children are being taken when parents momentarily lose sight of them, only to find them missing moments later. Naturally, many others were skeptical. What do you think of this? Is this really in Disneyland? Did you see the shoe rack too? Anyway, if anyone has more information or can confirm this, please share your insights in the comments section.
Moving on, a man woke up one morning to find something bizarre in his front yard, a rock floating in the air.
This rock was floating here this morning. I thought, that's weird. But it's attached by a spider web.
According to him, he'd noticed the same thing the previous day and knocked the rock to the ground. Yet when he came out that morning, it was back in the air floating again. On closer inspection, the rock was attached to a spider web. While the web might explain how the rock was suspended given its size, it's not unusual for it to appear to float so effortlessly. The real mystery, however, is how it ended up back in the air after being knocked down the day before.
This rock was floating here this morning. I thought, that's weird. But it's attached by a spider web.
I'm here in 1956. As you can tell behind me, I'm at McDonald's, guys. How do you deny this proof? Let me show you something. This is going to blow your freaking mind.
If you are confused, don't be. The young man in this clip claims to have time traveled to the 1950s and is recording this as evidence of his time travel. We see some popular brands today in what looks like the first versions of their modern designs. Naturally, this left the internet divided. Some think it's the real deal, whereas others think he's just messing with us. Some have called him out for being in California. Others think he's on a set. Which do you think the truth is?
I'm here in 1956. As you can tell behind me, I'm at McDonald's, guys. How do you deny this proof? Let me show you something. This is going to blow your freaking mind.
In a nature documentary called The Great North, some viewers noticed something peculiar during one of the episodes. The footage shows a herd of caribou running from a grassy area into a water body. But that's not where the mystery lies. In the background, further on the land, a dark figure can be seen moving on two legs. When the footage was zoomed in, the creature appeared to be carrying a smaller figure on its back. Some who closely examined the footage believed it could be a mother Bigfoot carrying her baby, possibly out hunting for food. Take a closer look. What do you think? Could this be another rare sighting of the elusive Bigfoot? What do we have here? A flat, circular, flame-like cloud partially hidden behind a large, dark cloud. It almost looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? The shape and fiery glow make it appear almost otherworldly, like some kind of celestial event or an unidentified aerial phenomenon. So, what could this be? One possibility is that it's a rare type of lenticular cloud, which can form in smooth, lens-like shapes near mountains or in certain weather conditions. These clouds sometimes reflect sunlight in ways that make them glow or appear otherworldly, or it could be a form of weather anomaly such as cloud-to-cloud lightning or a particularly striking atmospheric effect. Hold on, well, what if it's no cloud at all? Next up, we've got a clip featuring a demon. Enjoy.
Right here, watch here. Watch the wall.
The clip opens up with a group of people gathered in one place. It's allegedly a riot, but that's not the focus. No, take a look at the wall to the right. Do you see it? There's a creature moving on the wall, and the individual who uploaded this clip believes it's a demon. In fact, once the clip went up, people had questions, and some even had suggestions. One wondered if it came out of one of the rioters. Another called it a djinn and stated he had seen them in the woods. That didn't, however, stop some from being skeptical about the whole thing. You've seen the clip, so what do you think?
Right here, watch here. Watch the wall.
Am I tripping? Or did all the pine cones land straight up?
I'm all for coincidence, but this one doesn't feel like it. Have you ever walked by a pine tree and seen all its pine cones land straight up? The one who uploaded this clip doesn't think so and is leaning toward a glitch. I love glitches, but I don't know if this qualifies as one. What do you guys think?
Am I tripping? Or did all the pine cones land straight up?
I'm gonna say something. ¿Está bien? Holy shit. ¿Está bien? What the
A man ventured into a graveyard, and while walking through, he came across a figure a few meters away. It looked like a dark silhouette crouched on the ground in front of a wall. At first, he thought it was a person and called out to it, but then something unexpected happened. As soon as he yelled, the figure stood up and began to glide upwards along the wall. It wasn't just any wall either, it was part of a tomb. Now, people are speculating about what this entity could be. Some believe it might be a demon or some supernatural being. What do you guys think? If it's truly a supernatural being, what do you think it was doing there?
I'm gonna say something. ¿Está bien? Holy shit. ¿Está bien? What the
A man and his group of friends decided to explore an abandoned facility. As they made their way through the empty place, the man behind the camera ventured up a staircase. Arriving at a series of rooms that were locked. These rooms had metal fencing doors, allowing him to see inside. Curious, he began to look around. While inspecting one particular dark room, something spooked him so much that he quickly ran back down the stairs. It wasn't until reviewing the footage that he realized what had freaked him out. There, in the room, was a dark figure lurking. It had this ominous feel to it, but that's all he knew about it. He uploaded the clip seeking answers, but the community can't seem to come to an agreement. Responses range from it being a shadow creature to the whole thing being a hoax. You've seen the clip, so what do you think that we're dealing with here? A security camera captured a peculiar incident in a community. The footage shows a figure resembling a woman with long black hair holding a white arm-length stick. She walks quickly in one direction, then appears on another monitor. Once there, she performs an odd action. She taps one end of the stick on the ground twice, then flips it and taps the other end in the same manner. After finishing this ritual-like act, she calmly walks away. This strange behavior has sparked speculation. Could it be part of some ritual tied to witchcraft, black magic, or even voodoo? Such practices often involve symbolic gestures, but what exactly was she doing remains a mystery. Do you have any theories? Could it be cultural, spiritual, or something else entirely?
There's this picture on my dad's phone, and it's really scary, and they think it's the last thing he's gonna see before he dies. This just showed up on his phone out of nowhere. It says January 30th, 2027, and no one knows where this picture was taken from, or what it's of. He doesn't remember taking this picture.
The subject of time travel has been an endless debate. Some believe we already have access to such technology, while others dismiss it as pure fiction. Now, take a look at this peculiar footage. A young woman came across a strange photo on her father's phone. The image was a stunning view of a sunset overlooking a serene body of water surrounded by trees. The scene was beautiful, but there was something odd about it. The date on the photo read January the 30th, 2027. I don't know when this video was done, but as of now, we're still in 2024, so how could this be possible? The father, when asked about it, had no recollection of the photo or the location it depicted. This has sparked a variety of theories. Some people think the date is a chilling omen, suggesting the man might pass away before that date. Others speculate that the man somehow time-traveled and captured this image in the future. But if he doesn't remember taking the photograph, what could really be going on here?
There's this picture on my dad's phone, and it's really scary, and they think it's the last thing he's gonna see before he dies. This just showed up on his phone out of nowhere. It says January 30th, 2027, and no one knows where this picture was taken from, or what it's of. He doesn't remember taking this picture.
In this footage, a man was walking home late one night when he made the fateful decision to take a shortcut through the woods. As he ventured deeper, a sense of unease settled in, and halfway through he noticed something unnerving, a pair of glowing eyes peering from behind a massive tree. Intrigued yet cautious, he decided to investigate. He circled the tree, but when he got there, whatever it was had vanished without a trace. Shaken, but unable to find any clues, he continued his journey home, trying to brush off the encounter as just his imagination. But as he neared the end of the path, those same glowing red eyes appeared, this time from the side of the trail. In a split second, the eyes darted across his path. Just looking at that, it looks like a four-legged creature, but it was so fast you can hardly tell. Fortunately, he made it home safely, but the encounter left him rattled. Some are speculating that the creature might have been the mysterious, elusive, and dangerous dogman who is said to roam the forests. But what do you think?
see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
Technology has undoubtedly made our lives faster and more convenient, but we can't just overlook how it's also becoming increasingly dangerous. Just take a look at this new invention. Did you see that? This tiny drone carries just 3 grams of explosives, and when deployed, it can penetrate the skull and wreak havoc. It's fascinating yet terrifying to see how something so small can cause such destruction. What are your thoughts on this?
This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
Skinwalker, gorilla, beast. What do you think we're looking at? Personally, when I started this clip, I didn't know what to make of it. That was at least until the little girl walked in. That's when I confirmed that there was no way it was something ominous. Sure enough, the animal drops a few seconds later and we realize it's a dog. Imagine walking into this at night. You may surely run away and record this and tell us there's a skinwalker in your home. A group of friends ventured into the jungle for a thrilling motorbike ride, weaving in a line through the dense, towering trees. Suddenly, the group came to an abrupt halt. One of them pulled out a camera and began filming. While the reason for their sudden stop wasn't immediately clear, all eyes quickly shifted to the last rider in the group. Something unusual was unfolding. Out of nowhere, an animal emerged from the trees and leapt on one of the riders. The person filming was moving around in panic, making it hard to see the animal. But the group was visibly alarmed. They worked together to get the animal off their friend. From the footage, you could spot a long, swishing tail, which suggested it might have been a big cat. The video also ends abruptly, so I hope everyone made it out safely. Jungles and forests are territories for wild animals, so it's crucial to exercise caution when out there. But what animal do you think that was?
Channel 7 Skychopper News here, looking at the widespread destruction in the aftermath of the tornado that hit Sunny Hills Trailer Park today. It is a miracle that anybody survived.
What do you consider a coincidence? In Oklahoma, there was a tornado that left destruction in its wake. After the storm, news reporters were on site and a drone captured footage of the area from above. What it recorded was something quite unusual. After the chaos, the trees that were not affected by the tornado were shaped in a way that eerily resembled the popular image of Jesus, the one with his head and beard. The landscape after such devastation seemed disturbing enough, but this specific shape has left many wondering. Why Jesus, though? Is this just a strange coincidence, or could it be a sign? Some are even speculating that it could be a biblical warning. Julius claims that there are apps capable of doing this, but Aaron isn't having any of it. What are your thoughts?
Channel 7 Skychopper News here, looking at the widespread destruction in the aftermath of the tornado that hit Sunny Hills Trailer Park today. It is a miracle that anybody survived.
A woman was out on a walk with her dog one morning when she noticed something strange in the forest. It was a peculiar-looking tree, and as she got closer, she realized that part of the trunk had grown in a way that made it look like a face. It wasn't just any face, however. It had a menacing, eerie expression that immediately sent a chill down her spine. Interestingly, she wasn't the only one who sensed something was off. Her dog, usually playful and active, stopped dead in its tracks, staring intently at the face carved into the tree. It was as if the dog, too, felt the unsettling presence. Some have suggested that this could be a tree goblin, a creature from folklore said to reside within trees, causing them to grow in bizarre and disturbing ways. Others think it's nothing and that she's just seeking attention. Looking at the clip, I'm tempted to think she's genuinely got reasons to be disturbed, but what do you think? Could it be just an odd natural formation, or is there something more sinister at play here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section.
Yes. Okay, here's Bigfoot. We got him on camera.
I'm no zoologist, but even I know that's definitely not a bear. A brother and sister were at home staring into the woods close to them, and they noticed the big guy taking a stroll. Excited, they started recording and kept repeating that they finally had found Bigfoot on camera. Unless they paid someone to wear a costume, walk around the woods and pretend, I'm pretty sure that these guys have succeeded in achieving every little child's dream, capturing Bigfoot. The creature has all the right body proportions to fit our big guy. We can't really tell its actual size given the distance. I mean, Julius could probably do that, so let's not scratch that out. If we take out the size consideration, I'm tempted to say everything else fits. What do you guys think also? Is this really Bigfoot? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section.
Yes. Okay, here's Bigfoot. We got him on camera.
Now, who comes to mind when you see this? The big guy, right? This clip was uploaded on a popular Bigfoot and Sasquatch platform. According to the individual who uploaded it, it was filmed near Blue Ridge, Georgia. For those unfamiliar with the location, Blue Ridge, Georgia and its surrounding areas in the Appalachian Mountains are known for Bigfoot sightings and stories. Looking at this clip, I can see why. Starting off with the side profile, we're able to see the silhouette of the creature and some eyeshine. This eyeshine isn't present all the time, but it's present enough at the right times for you to see it. The fact that it's not there all the time made all who saw it believe the creature was looking around and gave some authenticity to the clip. Moving from there, the individual filming actually followed the being, for lack of better words, Bigfoot, and it led to a face-off. There were some grunts and aggressive displays here and there to get the one filming to stop following. After seeing a little of that display, he decides it's a good thing to return. Before he loses sight of the big guy, he takes a clip and shows the big guy walking away. He even grabs and releases a branch. This, to many, shows that the creature is indeed real and not someone in a costume. Imagine driving down the road when suddenly a geyser of sewage bursts from the ground, drenching everything in its path. Good thing it's an imagination, right? Well, for some unfortunate folks in China, this was a reality. There was a massive explosion in a sewer system that caused an eruption of sewage, shooting out like a fountain and splashing onto all the cars driving by. The force of the explosion was so intense that it even overturned an excavator in the area. Luckily, there was no casualties reported, but the scene was chaotic, to say the least. Quite literally a messy situation. The sheer power of the explosion took everyone by surprise. Fortunately, despite the destruction and chaos, no one was seriously hurt. Though it's safe to say that the cleanup was far from pleasant.
So,
so trippy. Yes, it is.
Here we have another mysterious piece of footage. A group of men were out one night when they noticed something strange in the sky. Do you see it? There's a cluster of sparkling lights in the darkness, but they are not stars. It looked like some sort of cloud or invisible object giving off these twinkling lights, almost as if something was cloaked and only the sparkling spots were visible. Some hypotheses included a mother spaceship hiding there, as well as the rumored Blue Beam project. The clip doesn't, however, give us much to work with, so what do you think?
That's so trippy. Yes, it is.
Stepping away from that, imagine you're moving through the woods with your friend when you hear rustling leaves behind you. Scared, you run away and hide, and then this shows up. Can you see it? It looks like our big guy. Well, a version of our big guy, and he's huge. The guys insist that it's real, and Aaron believes them. Just in case you're wondering, this is taken in Jefferson County, Pennsylvania, USA. The paranormal community is divided about this clip, though. Some believe it's the real deal, whereas others think it's a wild attempt for 5 minutes of fame. But what's your pick? Here's an extraordinary piece of footage captured by a hiker exploring a remote cave. Deep inside, the hiker came face to face with a massive black bear. The animal is seen staring intently at the person filming, its dark eyes locked on them as though trying to decipher whether to approach or retreat. The bear's size and presence are intimidating, and the tension is palpable in the footage. Thankfully, it seems the encounter didn't escalate as the hiker slowly backed away without provoking the animal. This is a stark reminder of the risks involved in venturing into wildlife territory. Always take precaution, remain calm, and respect these majestic creatures in their natural habitat. What do you think the bear was thinking about this tense standoff? An observer recently shared a curious piece of footage that has everyone asking the same question. What is this strange tube-like cloud moving across the sky? The object in question is small and appears to be a narrow tube of clouds drifting alongside a larger mass of clouds. What's even more bizarre is its movement. Unlike the surrounding clouds, this tube seems to be moving independently, almost like it has a life of its own. While clouds are shaped by natural forces like wind and air pressure, the way this one is behaving feels off. Could this be some sort of atmospheric phenomenon we don't yet fully understand, or is there something else at play here? Some might suggest it's a rare natural occurrence like a funnel cloud or a tornado in its early stages, but the size and shape don't quite match up to those typical weather patterns. What do you think? Is this a natural weather phenomenon, or could this tube-shaped cloud be something more mysterious? A passenger on a plane shared some rather strange and captivating footage she captured during her flight.
No, it's not. What is it? Carrie, what is that? What is that? Carrie, what is that?
In the footage, a dark figure can be seen in the sky. At first, it appears to be moving swiftly upward, heading toward the right. But as she continues to film, the object suddenly changes course. It doesn't dart or move erratically, but instead makes a slow, deliberate turn and begins aiming toward the left, still ascending. The movement is so smooth and unusual that it's difficult to tell what the object could be. The object doesn't behave like typical aircraft or birds, and its flight path suggests a level of control that adds to the mystery. What do you think this dark figure could be? Is it a natural phenomenon, or are we witnessing something otherworldly?
No, it's not. What is it? Carrie, what is that? What is that? Carrie, what is that? Oh.
What you're looking at is not a leech, it's a groundbreaking medical invention developed in Zurich. This device offers an alternative to traditional blood sampling methods, particularly for those who fear needles. It's shaped like a small futuristic tube, and it uses microneedles and tiny suction cups to draw blood without causing the pain associated with standard needles. The microneedles are so small that they only reach the outermost layer of skin, making the process virtually painless. This innovation can transform how blood samples are collected, offering a stress-free experience for those who dread the sight of a needle. What do you think? Would you give it a try? This eerie footage from South Africa shows a man walking slowly in the middle of a busy road. At first glance, it seems like he might be a lost or mentally ill person oblivious to the traffic rushing around him. However, something truly bizarre happened. The cars appeared to pass right through the man as if he wasn't solid. The man filming the scene was left stunned. Whatever was on the road was not human. Many have speculated that it could be the wandering spirit of someone who lost their life in a road accident, eternally walking the spot where tragedy struck. What do you think?
There's a Sasquatch that's in a barn down the road, and there's state and federal authorities there. The government has showed up. There's a helicopter up there.
While you think of that, I've got another clip, and it features this man who claims that there is a Bigfoot hiding in a barn on the side of the road. According to him, police and security agencies have surrounded the barn, and even a helicopter is hovering above. He says that the authorities have been chasing this creature through the woods before it finally sought refuge in the barn. Now, I'm curious if anyone else has heard about this situation. It would be really helpful if anyone had more insight or details regarding this incident. We couldn't find anything about it online, but then again, if it's genuine, I won't expect to, if you know what I mean.
You know, that's what I understand. They have a Bigfoot in a barn that did something. I'm not really sure what, but they were chasing it, it went into a barn, and it's cornered.
If you love exploring the woods, then this next clip is for you. This clip was captured by a trail camera set in the woods by a man hoping to capture the local wildlife. At least, that was his original intention. The camera ended up recording a dark, furred creature with a dome-shaped head staring directly at the lens. The creature's appearance was unsettling, and it left the man questioning what he had seen. Confused and maybe a little scared, he shared the footage online seeking answers. His original hypothesis, however, was that he had captured an image of Bigfoot. Not everyone accepts or is convinced by this hypothesis. Some viewers stated that the creature looked more gorilla than the elusive Bigfoot. You've seen the clip as well. Which side are you on? A man shared footage of an unusual and otherworldly creature, sparking curiosity and disbelief online. At first glance, it looks like some sort of plastic object. It's transparent, with a jelly-like body with blue tinges and a balloon-like tip floating atop a bowl. Some thought it might be AI-generated footage due to its bizarre appearance. However, after some digging, it turns out this is not artificial, it's an actual living creature called the Portuguese man-o'-war. Despite its jellyfish-like appearance, it's not a single organism, but a colonial organism made up of individual specialized creatures working together. The Portuguese man-o'-war is infamous for its venomous tentacles, which can deflect painful and potential harmful stings. Its unique structure and floating mechanisms make it one of the ocean's most fascinating creatures. But why was such a venomous thing in his mail? I'm not really sure, but it looks like someone's out to get him. You know, the questions people normally ask when they're in love, like, if I were a fish, would you love me? Or, what animal would you want to be? I believe the smart answer may be jellyfish, and this is why. The jellyfish, often dubbed the immortal jellyfish, is the only known species considered biologically immortal. Specifically, Turritopsis doornhill. Found in oceans worldwide, these tiny transparent creatures possess a remarkable ability to cheat death by reverting to an earlier stage of their life cycle. When faced with stress, injury, or aging, the jellyfish can transform its adult cells back into immature polyp cells, essentially starting its life anew. This process, known as transdifferentiation, allows the jellyfish to theoretically bypass natural death, though it can still fall prey to predators or disease. This extraordinary biological reset has made Turritopsis doornhill a subject of fascination and study, as scientists hope to unlock secrets that could inform human aging and regenerative medicine. While its potential for immortality is remarkable, it's not without limits, as the jellyfish remains vulnerable to environmental threats. Still, its unique adaptation has positioned it as a symbol of nature's ingenuity and the tantalizing possibilities of biological immortality. Maybe, instead of searching for the fountain of youth, our priority should be decoding the DNA and unlocking this for ourselves. I need to speak to Julius about this one. While you share your thoughts, we move on to something even more bizarre. In the clip, we see a group of people gathered in a room, and in the center, an older man stands with his hands outstretched, holding 3 fingers over a piece of paper. Suddenly, smoke begins to come out of the paper, and just like that, a small hole forms. It doesn't remain small, though. It gets wider, and a ring of fire appears around it. We're not sure, but the man seems to be using some unknown power to burn a hole straight through the paper. The crowd, amazed, starts clapping. Some are calling this an act of transmutation, suggesting that the man is focusing his energy and transforming it into heat, causing the paper to burn. Others, however, are more skeptical, dismissing it as a trick or illusion. What do you think? Is it real or just a clever performance? Quite recently, astronomers shared a bizarre sighting they had captured of the surface of the moon. In the footage, a strange craft seems to emerge from inside a crater on the moon's surface. This craft is oval-shaped and long, as if it moves across the lunar surface. You can even see its shadow trailing behind. What's fascinating is that this craft appeared to come from within the moon itself. Could this be an indication that life exists beneath the moon's surface, or is it possible there's something more mysterious going on up there? If you thought the chances of a nuclear war were slim, then you probably haven't heard that Sweden is telling its citizens to prepare for it. For those hearing it for the first time, Sweden has issued a renewed call for its citizens to prepare for emergencies, including the possibility of war, by distributing an updated version of its survival guide if crisis or war comes. This guide, sent to over 5 million households, is a comprehensive resource aimed at equipping people to handle crises like military conflicts, cyber attacks, and natural disasters. It provides practical steps such as stockpiling essential supplies like food and water and preparing mentally for extreme scenarios, including potential nuclear threats. This move is part of Sweden's broader efforts to bolster national security amidst rising global tensions, particularly following its decision to join NATO alongside Finland after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. This guide has been revised to reflect modern threats, and Swedish authorities emphasize the importance of citizens' readiness for unexpected challenges. Scary times, right? When I first saw this, I assumed it was a siren atop a police vehicle or something. That was until I got further information that this was in the sky, and I confirmed it myself. The only thing that came to mind when I saw this was UFO. We've seen an increase in their activity, which brought me to this conclusion. Julius, on the other hand, thinks I'm just being ridiculous. If you're new here, Julius is our science whiz who's skeptical about all things paranormal. It's probably some drone or possibly an aircraft in the sky. I get where he's coming from, but guys, given the current state of affairs in the world now, does a UFO sound impossible? Definitely a no, given the fact that the one who was there and saw it believes it's a UFO. Anyway, what do you guys also think? Next up, we've got a clip recorded by a homeowner who was cleaning out her property. It was a cleaning like every other until she stumbled upon an old horse saddle in the barn left behind by the previous owners. Wanting to get rid of it, she decided to burn the saddle, but if we are featuring it, something eerie happened. As the saddle burned, a white smoke emerged, moving gracefully in front of the fire. What made this smoke unusual was how it took on the shape of a horse galloping, and from the background, the unmistakable sound of hooves echoed through the air. The homeowner believes she may have freed the spirit of a horse long trapped in the saddle, as it appeared to move and gallop away. Before you come at me, I know how that sounds, but think about it. What if? Just what if? Before we move on to the next clip, I saw a comment under the original post that had me laughing. Take a look. Tell me you get the reference. But something else about it sparked curiosity and a bit of unease. One commenter made a rather chilling observation that's hard to shake off. He suggested that the supposed fossilized tree actually resembles a femur, the thigh bone of some unimaginably large creature. The funny thing is, once you take a closer look at the structure, it's hard to unsee the bone-like qualities. The proportions, shape, and surface texture all seem to echo something much more than a tree. Well, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but what about your thoughts on this eerie find? In this pond filled with young fish, one stands out from the rest. It's a fish with 3 heads. While the others appear perfectly normal, this particular fish exhibits an unusual mutation. Such deformities can result from genetic mutations, environmental pollutants, or exposure to chemicals during the fish's early development. In some cases, these mutations are harmless oddities, while in others, they can affect the creature's survival and well-being. What are your thoughts on this phenomenon? We have featured a lot of humanoids on this channel, but not sure we featured a translucent one. Wondering what I'm talking about? Well, pay attention to the clip on your screen. Did you see it? No? Oh, what about if we switch up the view? Do you see it now? The individual who sent this in was walking through a dark area where he felt he was not alone. That's what led him to turn around and turn his camera on while walking. Sure enough, he couldn't really see what he was dealing with, but he could hear it. He somehow made it to safety to his destination and then shared the clip with friends and family. It took a tech whiz to uncover that which was hiding in plain sight. Can't even imagine how he would feel using that stretch at night now, especially if it's only the route available. Ever wondered what a kidney stone looks like and how doctors treat it? No? Well, let's dive into it. Kidney stones are hard deposits of minerals and salts that can form inside your kidneys. They vary in size from a grain of sand to, in rare cases, something as large as a golf ball. When a stone forms and becomes lodged in the urinary tract, it can cause severe pain, often described as one of the most intense experiences a person can have. To treat this, doctors use a procedure known as lithotripsy or stone punch. It involves inserting a small device into the kidney. This device comes with a tiny camera, which allows the doctor to see exactly where the stone is located. Once in position, the machine delivers high-energy sound waves or lasers to break the stone into smaller pieces. These fragments can then pass through the urinary tract more easily, reducing the need for surgery. The process is highly effective, and while it may sound uncomfortable, it's much less invasive than traditional surgery. Not many people believe in ghosts or paranormal activity, but this video might have even the biggest skeptics talking. A woman was sitting quietly when she felt an odd sensation on her left hand. It was almost as though someone was gently touching her fingers. If she was with loved ones, it would have been reassuring, but she was completely alone at the time. Curious and a bit unsettled, she pulled out her phone to record what was happening, and this is what she captured. Her ring, sitting on her finger, began to slowly rotate on its own. Just look at that. Weird, right? There's no world where this is normal and natural. It got many folks in the paranormal community talking. Some believed it was genuine. There were also some who thought it had to be fake. Some thought the clip had to be doctored. Whereas others assumed she was using a trick, say a magnet to turn the ring. You've seen the clip too, so what do you think is going on here? A new innovative approach to burial is gaining attention. A mycelium coffin, also known as the world's first living coffin. Mycelium is the root structure of fungi known for its ability to decompose organic matter and enrich the soil. This groundbreaking coffin is designed to naturally accelerate the decomposition process while nourishing the earth. Unlike traditional coffins made of materials like wood or metal that can take decades to break down, the mycelium coffin can fully decompose within 30 to 45 days. Additionally, it reduces the environmental impact of burials, making it a more sustainable choice. This concept challenges our long-standing burial traditions. What do you think about this eco-friendly innovation? Would you consider it for yourself or a loved one? Ever since the congressional hearings stated that UFOs and UAPs may exist, stories that have to do with aliens and the like are getting revisited. And I didn't see why we shouldn't visit the alien Peru story. For those unfamiliar with it, Peru alien refers to small humanoid mummies discovered in Nazca, Peru, in 2017 and claimed to be extraterrestrial due to their elongated skulls, three-fingered hands, and alleged age of over 1,000 years. Recently, however, they have started cutting up these mummies to investigate. Their fingerprints and thumbprints already point to the fact that they're not human. They have even allegedly found chips in some of them. Presented by journalist Jaime Moussin, these remains sparked global intrigue but were widely debunked by scientists as hoaxes, likely fabricated using human and animal bones or explained by ancient cultural practices like cranial deformation. Newer mummies have been found in Mexico with similar descriptions, though. This has left many wondering if these were the original beings that the fakes were made from. I have questions too, but first, what do you guys think of this? A resident was on his way home when he noticed something strange coming from one of their neighbors' houses. A single room light was flickering on and off. Intrigued, they slowed down and filmed the eerie sight. When this footage was shown to Julius, he shrugged it off, suggesting it was likely just an electrical fault. But Aaron has a different take, believing it wasn't a simple malfunction but rather a sign of paranormal activity. What do you think? Could this just be a coincidence, or is there something more supernatural going on in that flickering room? Some Chinese researchers used a super radar with an impressive range of about 5,900 miles to examine the pyramids of Giza, and what they discovered was truly unexpected. They detected plasma bubbles. Yes, you heard that right. These mysterious bubbles, which are usually associated with atmospheric phenomena, are intriguing to say the least. The discovery has raised questions about the possible interactions between the ancient structures and natural or even unknown forces. What could this mean? Could the pyramids of Giza be linked to atmospheric anomalies, or is there something else going on that we have yet to understand? Next, we got a group of boat riders who had a chilling encounter in the middle of the sea. Out of nowhere, they noticed a massive wave heading toward them, created by something moving rapidly beneath the surface. Whatever it was never broke the surface, remaining an ominous presence underwater. The sheer size of the wave and speed at which it traveled left the group baffled and unsettled. Could it have been a large marine creature like a whale or a shark, or perhaps something more mysterious, a giant squid, an undiscovered deep-sea species, or even a man-made underwater craft? What do you think could have caused such a powerful disturbance? Speaking of seeing things that aren't there, take a look at this. Just in case you're wondering, this footage was captured by a security cam at an undisclosed location. It starts off unimpressive as there's nothing going on in the clip. That's at least the case until this black shadow passes through the area. It doesn't look like a shadow of something about the area. Instead, the shadow is almost tangible and appears to be moving with intent. Also, bear in mind that this is a slowed down footage, which means it was definitely moving rather quickly. Once this clip was uploaded online, opinions were divided. Some refused to believe it was real. A majority, on the other hand, believed this was the real deal. Almost all who believed it was real felt we were dealing with a shadow creature. What do you also think? While you share your thoughts on that, prepare your mind for an unsettling clip from Peru. The homeowner it belongs to was left in shock when he stumbled upon it. The clip shows his backyard, which was fenced off from a wooded area. It looked normal and ordinary until something came crawling out of the woods. It was a creature unlike any he'd ever seen. Its skin had a pinkish hue, almost human-like, but its overall appearance was far from normal. It also had small, glowing eyes that pierced through the darkness, and its face was contorted in a snarl, revealing sharp, razor-like teeth. You could even see its tongue slithering in and out of its mouth like some kind of serpent. The creature moved close to the fence and appeared to be peering into the house as if hunting for something or someone. Despite its menacing look, the creature never tried to enter the house. Instead, it lurked behind the bushes, watching, and the footage ended without further incident. Understandably, the homeowner was terrified after witnessing this, so much so that he decided to move away from the property entirely. Now the big question remains, what exactly was that creature? We have our theories, but this time we're interested in hearing yours. Next up, we've got this bizarre security footage. A woman was sitting in a shop when the door suddenly opened. She quickly turned her head to look at the door, then slightly bowed her head in what seemed like a greeting. She even opened another door as if allowing someone inside. But here's the thing, there was no one there. She then proceeds to walk to one of the cupboards, speaking about a product to what appears to be no one. This strange exchange carries on for a while until two others come in inside the shop, watching her intently, clearly puzzled by who she's talking to. When one of them touches her, she suddenly falls down. They had been observing her on the security camera, and from the looks of it, she was talking into the air, so they came to check up on her, and that happened. Creepy, right? What do you think might have been going on here? Could it have been a ghost customer? What do you guys make of this? Those are clearly shadows moving over the compound. The individual who uploaded this clip insists there were no objects moving above the place. She thinks they're shadow creatures. She's talking about some sort of dimensional rift, allowing these beings in and out of their dimension of plane. I must say the words are persuasive, convincing, and a little scary. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. What do you think? So this is a recent clip of one of Elon's events from SpaceX. All of Elon's events are special, but what made this one particularly special is the fact that President-elect Donald Trump was present. Thankfully, there were no shootings, but that's not what got people talking. When you look at the clip, does something seem a little off to you? No? Okay, well, let's take a look at President-elect Donald Trump. Does he seem a little, different? Well, many individuals who saw the clip believe that's not Trump. According to them, while the individual does pass for a convincing fake, his body language and looks disqualify him from being the real Donald Trump. Some suspect he's got a body double, whereas others are thinking Trump and the upper echelon of society have access to the reptilian people that are capable of shapeshifting into anyone and anything. You've seen the clip. What do you think is going on here? Do they have a point, or are they seeing things that aren't there? Some men ventured into the San Luis Valley after hearing reports of Bigfoot sightings in the area. They were eager to investigate, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive creature. When they arrived, they didn't manage to spot Bigfoot, but what they found was just as intriguing: an enormous footprint in the ground. Look at that. The sheer size of the print is impressive, and while they didn't get a visual of the creature itself, this evidence was enough to leave them convinced that something unusual was out there. Could this footprint belong to Bigfoot? What do you think? Proof of a legendary creature, or something else entirely? This next footage, taken at an undisclosed location, shows something truly strange in the sky, a bright, glowing spiral. It's not the sun, as the actual sun is clearly visible right beside it, so what could this mysterious spiral be? The spiral appears to rotate slowly, emitting a dazzling light that many viewers claim looks like a portal or vortex. Its odd shape and eerie glow have left people speculating. Some think it could be a natural atmospheric phenomenon, while others believe it's something far more unusual, perhaps linked to extraterrestrial activity or secret technology. But what do you think? This footage was shared by a man from Turkey who loves fishing and often vlogs his trips and adventures. One day, he decided to fish at the Katoran Dam late at night. He set up his spot, lit candles along the bank, and positioned his camera to capture the experience. After casting his net, he spotted something huge moving in the water. Excited, he thought he'd caught a big fish. He waded into the water to pull the net, but then the catch began to struggle. That's when he realized it wasn't a fish at all. It was a humanoid figure. Terrified, he started swimming back to shore, but the creature kept pulling him further into the water. Thankfully, he managed to escape and reach safety. To this day, the man has no idea what he encountered. Some speculate it could have been a mermaid or an unknown sea creature. What do we have here? A strange-looking bird. It was found in the woods by some kids, and it caught everyone's attention with its distinctive features. The bird's head had what looked like cat-like ears, and its glossy pink eyes give it an otherworldly appearance. When it opened its mouth wide, it seemed ready to cry out, but strangely no sound came. This bird looks like something out of a fantasy book, but it's actually a real animal called the great-eared nightjar. Native to parts of South Asia, this bird is good at camouflaging seamlessly into its surroundings during the day. Its unique appearance, especially those ear-like tufts, make it one of the most fascinating birds you will ever come across. Next up, we've got a clip from a hunter who was out in the woods on a bright afternoon, tracking what he believed to be signs of a Bigfoot. After spotting some large footprints in the mud, his curiosity was piqued, but it wasn't long before something else caught his attention. Moving behind the bushes ahead of him stirred his instincts. Peeking out from the thick brush was a dark-furred bipedal creature. Its large, muscular frame moved with an eerie silence as it tried to remain hidden, but its piercing eyes and face were unmistakable. Just look at that face. It had a human-like structure, but the features were distinctly animalistic. So what do you think? Genuine or not genuine? Let us know in the comments. This video really gives off a trippy vibe, especially with how the cat's unique coloring stands out. Its body seems divided into two distinct sections. From the stomach to the hind legs, it's a rich dark brown, while the front legs to the head are black with a striking white pattern that runs from between the eyes down to the mouth and neck. The black and white combo looks pretty standard for a cat, but the way that deep brown color appears in the back half of its body makes it look unusual. The way the black and brown meet creates this almost perfect dividing line along the back, which just adds to the oddness. It's as if someone stitched two different cats together, front and back halves not quite matching. This kind of rare fur pattern must catch a lot of eyes. It's amazing how nature can create these unexpected combinations, almost like a work of abstract art. Have you ever seen a cat with such striking color contrasts before? Do you think it's even real? Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section. This is something I don't have words for. How does this happen? At least those were my initial words when I first saw this. I told everyone around me this had to be fake, or there had to be some mistake. I was getting ready to do my commentary when an intern here with us showed us a news article online explaining the clip. This was allegedly created by a farming couple who used silicone to create molds in the shape of their feet and then planted turnips using these molds. As the turnips grew, they grew into this shape, and the rest, they say, is history. Am I glad there aren't turnips out there growing up shaped like human parts? Yes, does their ingenuity intrigue me? Yes, but in the end, it's each to his own, right?
So here
sound comes back. Why? Sounds like a bird.
Ancient architecture is fascinating, especially when it comes to the mysteries hidden within their designs. Take the Kukulkan Pyramid at Chichen Itza. For example, there's a strange phenomenon that occurs when you stand at the base of the pyramid and clap your hands. The sound echoes back in a very unique way. Now, there's a scientific explanation for this. It's due to the reflection and refraction of sound waves created by the pyramid's precise acoustics. But here's the eerie part. The sound that echoes back doesn't just bounce like a normal echo. It mimics the chirping of a bird. And not just any bird, but the Quetzal, a sacred bird in Mayan mythology. The Mayans believed the Quetzal was deeply connected to their gods. So, did they intentionally design the pyramid to create this sound, or is this just an incredible coincidence?
So here, the sound comes back. Why? Sounds like a bird.
And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we will post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.